Here's Miller. Dumping it into Smits, who's back playing with 5 fouls, and he immediately turns it over, throwing it right to Fox.
And I think it's important for the Lakers in the last 4.5 minutes of this game. They're going to win the game. They cannot let Reggie Miller get a couple field goals. Make him go home with this taste in his mouth. Don't let him get going.
Here's Robert Horry. O'Neal. 41 points. And a chance to tackle on another one.
We talked in our open about Shaquille O'Neal being the most dominant player in the game. And he gets him in a variety of ways. Here he just gets on the offensive board. We talked about he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. He just powers it in the basket. And Bob, when the Lakers win, Shaq averages about 31 points a game in the playoffs. When they lose, about 23.5. Tonight, 41 points. They play off of his rhythm in this offense.
And he stays at 41 as Davis rebounds. Smits came back in for 30 seconds, committed a turnover, and then his 6th foul. He played 20 minutes, scored 12 points, had 5 rebounds. Miller for 3, way off. And a whistle on the rebound. He is now 1 for 14.
And there's nothing worse than being on the road, having a kind of game that Reggie's having, and then having to be in that city for 2 more days before you can play a game. That's all you're going to hear on TV, the radio, the newspapers. But Reggie Miller, we know one thing, he will bounce back.
He's done it so many times before. Here's Dale Davis's jumper. Making it worse, though, for Reggie. This is his hometown. He told us yesterday, I'm not taking calls from any friends. It's family only. Family gets the tickets. All other requests get a deaf ear. I'm focusing on one thing and one thing only, these finals. Bryant finds Fox, and now Shaw for 3. Crozier with the rebound, battling Shaq for it. Here's Reggie Miller on the drive. Flips it up with the left hand and comes up empty. 1 for 15.
Now this is where they want to use clock and stay organized and look at that. Yeah, Shawshank right there.
There's your Shawshank redemption.
Now that started on Orlando when these guys played together for the Magic. They do that as well as anybody in the NBA.
Jalen Rose quiets the crowd, but only a bit.
Shaquille O'Neal has been unbelievable tonight, and John Salley waiting to check in the game.
O'Neal got it deep, and they fouled him. The basket doesn't count.
Shaquille O'Neal just feels the rhythm and rolls right to the basket. How about that finish? One hand going away from the basket, 7 feet 1, 330 pounds. The MVP, the look in his face. The man wants a championship to finish this season.
How about that line? 43 points, 19 rebounds, toss in 4 assists and 3 blocks.
Now again, in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, Shaq got 9 shots. Bob, tonight, 31 shot attempts.
And they're serenading it with MVP, shot clock violation. In case you were wondering, Shaq was fouled by Dale Davis on his last touch of the game, but it was not an active shooting foul, and Indiana is not yet over the limit. So he goes to the sideline, replaced by John Salley. Here's Miller once again. He's 1 for 16. All things considered, one of the 2 worst shooting nights he's ever had, considering the import of the game. The 3 for 18 in Game 6 last year at Madison Square Garden when they were bounced from the playoffs, and the Eastern Conference Finals by the Knicks would have to be the worst because that ended the season.
Well, Reggie is such a competitor. I can only imagine what he's feeling right now. We see 7 points, and you're hearing the Reggie chants, which is exactly what he wants. If I'm LA, I stay real quiet. He wants this kind of taunting. That's what he feeds off of. Let him stay quiet. Don't get him excited.
The 1 for 16 is actually one of the worst shooting performances in the history of the NBA Finals. Dennis Johnson, then with Seattle, picked a terrible time to go 0 for 14, Game 7 in '78 against Washington, and Seattle lost the last game 105-99 on their home floor. And John Starks in Game 7 for the Knicks, 2 for 18, as they lost by 6 to the Rockets in Houston in Game 7. Both of those were worse because they were Game 7s. Miller has time to come back from this. A 1-for-16 debacle in Game 1.
You know, and just speaking with Reggie yesterday, Bob, you and I had a chance to spend some time. He was so excited about being in the playoffs, finally getting to the NBA Finals. We talked on our Open. He's at his best when the lights are shining and it's bright and the spotlight is on him. And tonight, he's had one of those nights you just want to forget.
Chris Mullin, after 15 years, finally seeing the NBA Finals. And Rick Fox was collared by Jalen Rose, and somehow the shot went in. That might be a flagrant.
You know, in all fairness to Jalen Rose, he took the hard foul, but he tried to hold him up. Rick Fox makes a spectacular shot over his shoulder, but here he comes down hard, and then he tries to hold him up at the last moment. See him slip through as he tried to grab his shirt, so they're not even going to give him the basket. They're going to say it's a 2-shot foul, but the foul occurred before the shot was taken, so Rick Fox gets the brunt of that blow and doesn't even get the basket.
4th foul on Rose, but it's all just bookkeeping now. 100-83 with under 2 minutes left.
Here's one more look at this play. Rick Fox sort of peeks over his shoulder. The foul is committed there. A little surprised that that was not a and one where he got a 3-point play.
Looked like it should have counted.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Well, he makes them both.
Well, where does Indiana go from here, Bob? What do you do? I mean, where do you break that film down? How are they going to slow down Shaquille O'Neal? When you look at their personnel right now, that's got to be a big question because they just don't have a lot of big people to throw at him, and he was in such a great rhythm tonight. So Larry Bird and his staff are going to be up late trying to find a way to limit some of his field goal attempts.
That was the 19-year-old rookie Jonathan Bender, who hasn't played all that much, coming in now in mop-up time, getting that basket. Jan Tabak is also in the game, the veteran from Croatia. As Larry Bird finds a chance to give them a few minutes in the NBA Finals. Actually, we're down to mere seconds. Kobe Bryant with the steal, and Crozier grabs him schoolyard style by the shirt.
Now remember, you were talking about Jonathan Bender. He was the young high school guy that Indiana made the trade with Toronto. Antonio Davis goes to Toronto, and they draft Jonathan Bender. And right now in the finals, I'm sure they would love to have Antonio Davis. Now, they get into the finals somewhere they've never been, but they could use that big body right now.
Kobe Bryant, relatively quiet night in terms of scoring. That's his 13th point. Game 2 is Friday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, from right here at the Staples Center. Since the merger between the NBA and the ABA in 1976, the Indiana Pacers have played in 22 NBA playoff series coming into this one. Every time they've won the first game, all 11 times they've won the series. Every time they've dropped the opener, 11 times, they've lost the series. Here's Bender. And Shaw grabs the rebound.
Well, the Lakers showed no after effects of that amazing come-from-behind win against Portland. I think the biggest concern was, were they going to have a hangover? Shaq did not let that happen tonight. He dominated from start to finish. Big Game 1 victory here for them, Bob.
Bryant misses a 3, ball up over the backboard.